In this tutorial video, we are going to follow the guidelines to predict on a new patient using the LHS pipeline. You can find the instruction on our GitHub at mail project LHS. You can follow the instructions on the step 3 run the prediction pipeline here. Before running the pipeline, you will need to have installed the LHS Docker or Singularity container. You will need to have organized your data into bits format, but we are going to go through this together in this video. And you will need to have computed the harmonization parameter for the scanners if you want to remove the scanner bias on this data. So we are going to first organize our data into bits format following the guidelines here. And for that, you will need to have downloaded already the LHS data folder, which contain 4 folders where you can put your input data. So for the MRI data, you will need to have for this patient one folder with the patient ID, and you will need to organize this MRI data into the bits standard format, which require to have this little sub at the beginning of the ID, and require to have an NAT folder, and in this NAT folder to have the T1 weighted file as a nifty file with the subject ID as well. For more information, you can follow the guidelines here, and you can also look at the build instruction if you want to adapt it to your dataset. You will also need to organize the demographic information. The instructions are here. And for that, you can go back in your LHS data folder, and you will have these demographic files here. So for this specific patient, you will need to provide the ID, the harmonization code that you're going to use. If you don't want to use any harmonization, you will need to put this no harmo code. If you want to use a harmonization code, you can put the harmonization code here. You will need to precise that this is a patient because you want to predict on it anyway. And you will need to provide the age at per operative scan, the sex, and also the scanner strengths. Once you have prepared the MRI data and the demographic information, we can now run the prediction pipeline. There is 2 ways to run this pipeline. We can run it without the harmonization or with the harmonization. So I'm going to show how to run it without the harmonization first. So we open a terminal where we have extracted the LHS scripts folders. So for me, it's here. I'm opening a terminal. If you're running with Docker, you will need to ensure that in your compose file, the volume is pointing to where you have your LHS data folder. And we can now run this line if you're running with Docker. So we are going to put the ID of the subject, which is this. And we're going to provide the demographic file, which is there. So and you can just run that line. And this is starting to run the pipeline. If you are running with a Singularity container, you can look at the guidelines here instead. You will need to first export the path to where your LHS data folder is saved, and then you can run the line with the Singularity, calling the Singularity image. There is a couple of ways to adapt this function, to tune this command. So the first one is if you want to run with harmonization, you will need to ensure that in the demographic file you are providing the harmonization code, and you will need on the command to add the armo code that you want to run on. And you can also tune the command by providing, instead of just one subject ID, you can provide a list of subjects if you want to run multiple subjects in the same time. And you can also use the parallelize flag if you want to um, parallelize the number of subjects you are running into different CPU. So once the pipeline has finished to run, you can find the output in the folder output prediction report subject ID. So I'll show you now output prediction report subject ID, and you can find the report here, and we will look at how we can interpret this report in another video.